Okay, I think it's ready.
Yes, I think so. Please.
Yeah, Mr. Nishida, our JICA consultant. This is to welcome you in this session, but once again, we welcome you back to Tanzania. We know you just arrived end last month, right? Or early this month?
Yes, yes.
Yes, yes. So we thank you for the effort and for the support you are giving to this program. And generally, we thank JICA for this extension of consulting service through the BDS Kaizen project. So our appreciation and thanks to you all. Secondly, our colleague from the institutions under the ministry, even beyond the ministry, I welcome you to this training. I understand it's an ongoing training. We had a session, we had previous sessions of the same training. So this is not new to all of us. I welcome you. Also, Lydia Wangwe, the personal assistant to our consultant Nishida. Karibu sana, Lydia. Maybe before we proceed, we should pass a quick introduction to each and every one of us. I don't know how we can control, but please let us continue to introduce ourselves. Okay, I think it will be difficult, but let me welcome you. I can see members from Tildo. I see Latifa. I see friend Ndosi, the director. Director Ndosi, welcome. Karibu sana, mkurugenzi Ndosi.
Good morning, all of you. My name is Ndosi. I'm from Tido.
Yes, yes. Thank you. I see a member from AEC Tanzania. Please, may you introduce yourself? Karibu.
This is the host company of our project under the flag of JICA. They are participating from Tokyo.
Thank you. Oh, that's very good. Also, I see Mr. Paul Kimati from Tido. Johnny Mfaga from Tido. Doris Rutina from NDC. Mr. Msese.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Doris Rutina from National Development Corporation.
Welcome.
Welcome. Then Alim Sopa from Ministry. And we have Msese.
Good morning. I'm Msese from SIDO.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Karibu sana. And we have plan and development, please. Karibu.
Habarini za asubuhi. Tamasha Isa Mnyaru, EPZDA.
Oh, Mr. Mnyaru, karibu mkuu wangu, karibu sana. Also, we have another Yoshitami, I guess, from Japan again.
Good morning. This is Yoshitomi from JICA Tanzania office. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Latifa, Baru, Latifa?
I think Latifa is physically connecting now.
Okay. Hossein Idi? Florian Mramba from NDC?
Yes, Florian, welcome. You are one of the analysts.
We have Anna. Agustino Masse from Tido. And we have Rachel. We also have Rebecca from Tildo, and we have Anna. We have
Rebecca is here as well.
okay, very good. Karibu sana Rebecca. We also have Kunda from Tildo.
Oh, hello.
Good morning.
Kunda here from Trido. I'm glad to be part of the team.
Very good.
Thank you. Asante sana, Kunda. Last year, I think Anania.
Yeah, Anani is taking care of secretariat work here. He's a bit
Perfect.
away from his PC.
Okay, and also we have Anna. And lastly, Evelyn. Assisting.
Evelyn doesn't have a microphone, I think.
Okay, well, at least she's there.
Yeah, she's there. She's right there.
And also Gilbert Uforo, engineer. Okay. Uforo is connected. You'll be talking or you are done?
Very nice. Very nice.
Okay. So I welcome all of you. The ministry is pleased to see all of you joining this important training, whereby we are going to have the training from our experienced consultant, Mr. Nishida, our industrial consultant. So the ministry is very pleased to see you all, and on top of that, the consultant, Mr. Nishida. Please, Karibu, may I roll on the program and give the platform to our consultant, Nishida. Karibu, Nishida.
Very good. Marvelous. Thank you very much, Dr. Wilson Lugano, for your warm and very expecting statements to open the session. And then audience online and on site as well. You are most welcome to join this session. That is a very final part of lectures for you to be familiar with the methodology of industrial feasibility study. And today's main topic is monitoring and evaluation. And until now, I talked about what is feasibility study and then how you compile the feasibility study. But the topic was by nature for those who are in a position to take care of the investment project as a analyst or a project owner. In other words, for the benefit of government officials or those who are in a position to monitor and evaluate what's going on. Until now, the lectures covered a rather basic part of the knowledge. In today's session, I focus on how you apply the knowledge to monitor and evaluate the investment project or industrial projects for the benefit of the national economy. I've been with the established methodology of industrial feasibility study for more than last 25 years. And with full-fledged experience and knowledge of mine, I'm more than happy to share the core, the bread and butter of the knowledge. Okay, so just then allow me to share slides, and I will gradually step into.
Okay, please proceed. Thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah. All right, then let me start the slideshow. Okay. So allow me to then come back to my lecture. What you see on the screen shows the time schedule of my contribution to the program. starting November last year before last, November 2022, to complete.
Sorry, Nishida. So Nishida,
Yes?
can it be full screen?
I think it's full
it?
screen, isn't it?
It's full screen. Okay, proceed.
Or very excuse me that if you find the resolution is not big enough, but at least I hope you can read the very simple title of the milestones starting from November 2022. This is when I conducted the very first workshop that is with the title of Industrial Feasibility Study 101. And this workshop was to cover the basic theory of industrial feasibility study. And followed by the second one, which was conducted in August 2023. And both of those previous workshops were recorded and uploaded on YouTube so that anybody who are interested in the methodology of industrial feasibility study can study via the YouTube. And YouTube addresses will accordingly be shared. It's been already shared with those who are concerned, but if you're interested in, please make an inquiry to the Secretariat at MIDDID, through which anybody can benefit from the YouTube programs. And what happened? I don't know. The animation doesn't, yeah, here. And then red arrow shows where we are now. 301, M&E. This is to complete, as a national economy, how you conduct a feasibility study. Now it's February 2024. And I said, this is the final lecture. And then what's coming up afterward is to focus on the real feasibility study project. Currently, I have 4 active projects, which I'm supporting for them to complete feasibility study reports. And these reports are supposed to be completed by the August this year. And then further, my plan is to bring them to the financial institutions, say commercial banks, to see how the banks are taken up or not. And through the process, with today's session, I expect the participants to be equipped with knowledge on the methodology of monitoring and evaluation of the feasibility study reports. If such capacity is installed, then the project owners can expect the government services to maintain the quality of their feasibility study reports to be taken up by the financial institute. This is the target of today's session. Okay, and particularly those who are online, if you have any questions, you please make use of the chat. If you put your questions in text on chat, from time to time, I pay attention to, so that you can technically be satisfied with my lecture. All right, then next is what? Yes, so now the start of the substantive session. Today, first 1 hour, I share the technical knowledge through the lecture presentation. And then afterward, I stop the lecture and move into exercise Today, I prepared a very, very interesting and unique exercise to examine a real feasibility study reports of a project being conducted in a third country. It's not Japan, it's not Tanzania, but it's a real one. It's active, it's moving on as of now. So this very fresh and very active projects we examine all together, and then we check how the draft of feasibility study report came to be well done or still on the way. And for the purpose, I prepared a few materials as a handouts, and those who are online, I assume that you have already received these lecture materials from the Secretariat, but if not, I can redistribute again through the Zoom chat. That comes to be the second half of today's presentation, today's course. So let me firstly start with the technical knowledge parts. The monitoring evaluation of industrial feasibility study. So why do you evaluate the industrial projects? This is to visualize the risks and returns of the project so that you can stay responsible to maintain the national economy in a ship shape. Risks, how you find them out, you count on the narrative report, which is consolidated by the project owner. And then you have applicable measures to examine this narrative report. You will have it through today's lecture. And then how you evaluate return of this industrial project. You pay more attention on the financial analysis, or if you stay loyal to the UNIDO methodology, it comes to be with the chapter 10 of the industrial feasibility report, feasibility study reports. Chapter 10 is full of numerical data. How much of the profit you can expect, or how long it takes to pay back the initial investment, or how big the safety margin you can expect. All those numerical data you analyze through this monitoring and evaluation practice. So today's first keyword is, as shown on the first dot, evaluation of risk and return. You make sure that the project has a lesser risks as realistic, and then more returns as you can assure. And then you also monitor the study contents, the information which the report refers to. You please pay attention to the freshness of the information. Like, for example, many reports tend to refer to statistics of national economy, like the World Bank report or the Economist Intelligence Units, how much of the annual production of a certain industrial subsector is reported for the whole country of Tanzania. But you eventually find that the source of the data happens to be year 2008. What do you think? Is it fresh enough? I don't think so. In many cases, it happens. Therefore, the source of information and the freshness of information, you also please pay a very good attention when you monitor the industrial feasibility study. Also, credibility. Many informations do not, unfortunately, have the source clearly indicated. like URL address of the internet information, particularly. Otherwise, academic thesis or even newspaper. If it's a newspaper, the date and the issue. Freshness and credibility, you please pay attention to. Otherwise, sometimes you have to be captured by those fake information without intending to do so. And the adequate granularity of information, what it means that information has sort of size. Sometimes you say average wage of workers in Tanzania, like $30 per month. This granularities, I think it's too large. You may have more specification, like whether it's a welder or a fitter, like it's a carpenter or whatsoever. Depending on the classification, they have a different wage rate. Of course, if it's a skilled or middle skilled or unskilled, the wage rate comes to be different. And then the more you elaborate the specification, the smaller the granularity comes to be. So what level of information granularity are you talking about? This is also a very important part. So I tend to stress when you monitor the study contents about the information, you pay attention on these 3 points. That is freshness, credibility, and adequate granularity. And then particularly today, we talk about the economic contribution of the industry project to the national economy. How do you measure it? In many cases, industrial feasibility study tends to talk about return on investment or more with a short-term perspective, the profits. That could be a proxy for you to measure how much they can contribute, because the more profit they have, the more tax they have to pay, means that they can contribute more. But in order for you to scientifically measure the economic contribution of the project, there is a methodology to refer to, another parameter, which is called value added. So the first point of today's session is how you figure out this value added from the financial analysis of feasibility study. As a mathematical formula, we tend to say that value added equal to the sales turnover minus material cost and investment. Material cost and investment are the money that are paid to somebody else. What do you mean somebody else? Somebody else, those who are not contributing to the national economy. And the sales is supposed to be the source of contribution. Entrepreneurs do their business and get the sales, from which they pay out the cost, but the residual is particularly the source to contribute to the national economy. This is what we call the value added. Value brought in by the business. And sales is the gross revenue. As I just mentioned, the material cost and investment, they also have to finance from the sales. So you have to distinguish. How you exactly do it, I'll talk about it later. So the material cost is a purchasing cost of the business with cash disbursement. And investment, purchased equipment, including depreciation. So when I say financial analysis, I have 2 perspectives. I used to have 2 perspectives for 101 and 201. Number 1 is safety. I talked about break-even points as a proxy parameter to measure the safety of the investments. And also, I stressed the importance of the cash flow monitoring to maintain that the project can certainly stay sustainable. I don't talk much about it. Those who are interested in this safety viewpoint, you please have a look at 101 and 201 YouTube videos. And another viewpoint was the profitability. Profitability by payback period, how soon you can get the investment back, and internal rate of return and net present value. Particularly, the YouTube video 201 talks more about this component. Therefore, those who are interested in this financial analysis, once again, I urge you to go back to the YouTube 201 video. And today's additional tip is just stated bottom underneath, economic analysis on value added. Yes, then more precisely, what is value added? What is value added? If you can have a look at the screen, I differentiated three similar concepts into different outlooks. Okay, fine, all right. But this slide is very crucial, very substantive, and very important. As I said, now I distinguish what is value added, what is profit, and what is cash flow. I talked about cash flow, particularly on 201, workshop 201, and said that cash flow is a sum of profit and depreciation. Depreciation is technically a cost, but what you do is you just retroactively paying a part of equipment by spending several accumulative years. In other words, if you refer to respective fiscal year, even though you book the depreciation with a certain figure, it doesn't come along with cash disbursement. Means the same amount of cash stays in your hand. Therefore, the profit, which is the real cash, and depreciation, which is also cash, you sum them up to have the amount of the cash flow. Added value, it has a different perspective to represent the interest of the national economy. As a national economy, yes, you are happy to have an industrial project which brings in the profit. Yes, certainly yes. And also, you must be happy with them to pay the tax to the national government because you're representing national interest. Yeah, if you are an entrepreneur, tax is an outgoing money. Tax, you have to say bye-bye. Tax is always a headache of yours. Yeah, that must be true. But once, if you're in a position to represent a national interest, you should be happy because the tax is a source of the funds of your national budget. Am I right? And also, salary and wage are the share of the sales revenue with the workers who are the local residents. And then from the interest of the national economy, you should also be happy that salaries and wages are certainly paid to those who are working for the project. And also rent for the landlord, also the local economy, part of the local economy, and the interest also part of local economy because the interest has to most likely be paid to the local financial institutions, the banks. So in other words, these accumulation of the share of return amongst the local economy are the essence of the added value. The added value, profit, tax, salary, rent, and interest. If you sum them up, you can just figure out how much the local economy is benefiting from that particular industrial project. In other words, when you examine the industrial feasibility study, you have a forecast of financial plan, financial analysis. Once you read them, you just check all those figures and then sum them up to separately calculate how much the added value you can expect. And then you can evaluate whether the project is a good one, or fair one, or poor one. I hope you understood the theory. Therefore, when you say industrial projects or investment projects, you can expect in a very global sense a return on investment, but the return differs depending on who you are. If you are the investor, you prioritize the cash flow, the cash return. And if you are the company management, like chief operating officer of the project, your target must be the profit. And if you are government officials under the Ministry of Industry and Trade, definitely your interest falls on the value added. These are, in a sense, all the return on investment, but it's different depending on who you are. This particular point, I really want to stress. And then just underneath, I put additional notes saying that depreciation may be included in the value added if the equipment is locally made. Many cases, equipment you import. I'm now helping sunflower oil production project. And the factory operator told me that they made refiner locally, but unfortunately, the performance of refiner is not satisfactory. If it's a Indian make, if it's a Chinese make, they have thermometer through which they can monitor the temperature of oil during the refining stage. But the local refiner doesn't have the thermometer. Then what they have to do is manually measure the very, very hot oil from the surface, putting the thermometer into the tank and measure for, I don't know, 10, 20 seconds, and they took note every day. What if they have just an indicator installed inside wall of the refiner? It works much better, but unfortunately, that is not the case at this moment. There is no advanced refiners available in the local market. What you do is to think about buying the equipment from China or from India. Buying the equipment from outside the country, what you have to do is to pay the cost to somebody else. It doesn't stay in Tanzania. Therefore, depreciation has to be, or investment has to be excluded from the added value. But if you happen to have a qualified manufacturer, it stays locally, yes? Therefore, in most cases, depreciation, it's a matter of practice. It's a matter of habitual practice and the rule to make your business simple and accountable to the taxpayer, that you put the rule, okay, depreciation, we do not include in the value added. I think it's safer and the better. But the more economy grows, the more industry developed, I don't know, after 10 to 30 years, eventually you may have to review this rule to possibly include this depreciation as a part of the added value. It's a matter of policy review, which may come to you hopefully in the foreseeable future. And at this moment, I tell you that this added value does not include the depreciation or equipment investment. All right, so these are all returns of your business, but with different perspectives. Value added is a return for local economy. Tax salaries are part of financial benefit that your business achieves. Profit is also another form of return, but only for the company management. Cash flow is also another form of return, but for the investors. Yeah, depreciation is not counted as a part of the value added, but counted as a part of the cash flow. So, monitoring and evaluation. Because of this background, value added is frequently referred. It's a criteria of monitoring and evaluation. And other parameters that I talk about, efficiency and indices, may also be referred to. These efficiency and indices are quite useful, but you need the policy of monitoring, policy of evaluation. How the narrative part of the report verifies the calculation is an also important viewpoint. You examine later on through the exercise, you examine the narrative report. We do it all together today. And you see how it can verify the calculation. And deployed unit rate for calculation may not possibly be endorsed by the narrative explanation. If you have such contradiction, saying that on the narrative part, yes, Tanzania, the weather is nice, and then a bunch of sunflower seeds are available, therefore its material cost is competitive. And once you look at the financial analysis, eventually you find that the material cost of sunflower is very high. Hey, what's this contradiction? You really have to pay attention to, so that you ask the author of the report, hey, what's the difference? Yes, when I say narrative part, if you are with me, if you have viewed, participated the session, or if you've viewed the YouTube video of 101, I say it has a template chapters as stated on the screen. Chapter 2 is project background, the basic idea. It says, why do you go for this project? Therefore, I tend to say that chapter 2 is the most important chapter. And chapter 3 is about the marketing, how you sell the product of yours. In chapter 4, raw materials and supplies. In chapter 5, location, site, and environment. Chapter 6, engineering technology. Chapter 7, organization and overhead costs. Chapter 8, human resources. And chapter 9, implementation planning and budgeting. Oops. Yes. And when you have an opportunity to have a look at the financial analysis, I'm sorry, this is just a screen capture of financial analysis work that I was doing. But those cost items marked with the red, above here, raw materials, tomatoes, salt, cans, factory supplies, utilities, energy, these and that. These are all material costs. And here you have depreciation. The material cost and depreciation, you deduct it from the sales revenue. Then you can have the value added. Or you can also accumulate profit, tax, salary, rent, and interest. Then you have the value added. Either you deduct material cost and depreciation, or you add up all those factors. Either way, you can calculate the value added. So value added is a very, very basic parameter of yours to go for a national economy monitoring and evaluation. So up to now, I hope you have understood the idea and concept. Can I? Very good. Then further knowledge about the evaluation and monitoring on efficiency and indices. Absolute efficiency is a concept that whether this project is good or not. Therefore, we call it absolute efficiency. Just allow me to go through the slides. Does the value added cover all the salaries, the wages, and other related personnel costs? Does the residual sufficiently cover the tax and other value added expenditures? If the value added cannot cover the personnel costs, the project should not be qualified from the beginning. So you say no. This is absolute. This is absolute. Okay, so the project has a very beautiful narrative report, and once you go to the financial analysis, eventually you find that it cannot cover the salaries. Then it's obvious that it's totally out of the question. And likewise, you also check how the project is contributing to the national economy with the mathematical parameters. Capital efficiency. What is a capital efficiency? This is a parameter to compare the total sum of value added against the total sum of investments. P stands for the present value of each, and efficiency C, or parameter EC, is for you to keep on measuring the capital efficiency. If you figure out this capital efficiency of project A, you can compare with the project B, C, and D, through which you can find out who's contributing the most as a matter of efficiency to the national economy. And very similar approach about the foreign exchange. If you have a scarcity of foreign exchange reserve with your economy, you apply a similar calculation, but with a dedicated foreign exchange amount against the value added. How much foreign exchange you put in the project to generate the value added. Then you have a forex efficiency by which you can evaluate who's doing better than the others. And just like this, if you have a scarcity on your labor provision, you compare the value added, total sum of value added with the labor, which was used for the project. Then how much of the labor realized this value added, you monitor as a parameter and then judge which project does better. And then additionally, I share several indices with you to monitor how well the industry investment projects can help the national economy. The first one, we call it employment effect. JO stands for job opportunities and I for investment. You just sum up the number of jobs you divide it by the investment. And then this parameter shows with 1 Tanzanian shilling, how many jobs you generate. And then this parameter, if you can keep on monitoring, eventually you come to know that because of this industrial promotion, how thickly you can provide the jobs to the national economy with 1 Tanzanian shilling. And also, labor distribution, even in Japan, we tend to monitor this parameter to examine how well the laborers are benefited. The labor distribution is a parameter to divide the wage value added, but the wage divided by the total value added. And then we tend to say that this can sneak around 50 to 60%. In other words, total value added in Japan, 50 to 60% are dedicated for the labor wage. And then this labor distribution can tell you that the workers are sufficiently benefited. And also, underneath, we have this one. International competitiveness. This is a bit complicated, but just a matter of theoretical consistency. I will talk about it. The formula above, it says for the certain period of time, you monitor the difference between forex inflow minus forex outflow. Supposed to have an industrial project which may earn the foreign exchange and which may use foreign exchange. What's the difference in between and how much they have a residual in their hands? So FI minus FO stands for foreign exchange inflow minus foreign exchange outflow. Then you have certain amount of foreign exchange stays in your hands, and then you sum up for the chronological duration of the project implementation. Like if it's a 5 years feasibility study, let's say 5 years in total, how much of a forex you have it, and then eventually you may have a discount factor to convert into net present value, so present value, and then you divide it by domestic residual. What is domestic residual? After you settle this foreign account, eventually you have the value added, which stays in the country. And stays in the country generated this much of the foreign exchange ins and out and the residuals. Domestic value added, and then here international say value added. And if this figure comes to be bigger, it means that you have more foreign inflow than foreign outflow. Means foreign countries prefer you. That is why they pay more. That is why you have more inflow. The bigger the parameter comes to be, the more popular Tanzania amongst the foreign country is. Otherwise, they don't buy from you. It means that you don't have foreign inflow. International competitiveness can be represented this parameter as a proxy. You measure how much foreign exchange you come to gain. Means that now Tanzanian economy is quite popular by the business partners outside the country. Okay, sorry for the inconveniences, but if I'm allowed to resume my presentation from this particular slide, what I wanted to stress is that, okay, technically speaking, it's not very difficult to learn attribution. So likewise, out of these parameters, which do you use for your monitoring services? It's a matter of policy. It's a matter of decision making by the institutional authority. But how you prefer to make use of the efficiency and indices, perhaps you can discuss amongst yourself, and then you can draft, okay, this sort of monitoring and evaluation system we prefer. And then you can discuss with the management. Then as a ministry, eventually you can have your own thought to go with. And then what I could further expect, sorry. Very difficult, huh? Is to, sorry. Yeah, just for the time being, allow me to disconnect my PowerPoint presentation. But now I assume we all share that there are certain tools and methodologies available. And then based on the concept of the value added, you can focus on the foreign exchange, you can focus on the benefits of the workers, and you can focus on local economy as a whole. And then which one do you prioritize? This, I think you really should discuss and decide. And just generally, or worldwide practice, I should say, it's been commonly prioritized to have this value added as the parameter to go with. Value added. And then amongst the value added, yes, if I must say, then the salary and the wage, the benefit of local workers. And these should be monitoring parameter of yours. Then you can outline how you analyze the industrial feasibility study to extract those essential figures and then keep on monitoring. And then it has to be systematized. It has to be systematized as a matter of policy, which is the next step to go. And then, as I initially indicated, workshop, lecture-based workshop today is the last one. And then we go into the practice. Practice means I committed myself to help feasibility study analyst for individual project. But me as a advisor to the DID MIT, I also commit myself to be with you to discuss and draft what can possibly be the policy of monitoring and evaluation by the ministry. So this is the end of my lecture part. And from now, we move into the real practice. I promised that I go with a real active project through the examination of draft feasibility study report. You will eventually know what you can expect as a contents of the narrative report, and then what you have to cope with to figure out the financial parameters towards the end of the day. Yes, until this exact moment, I don't know. Do you have any questions? Yeah, now examining narrative parts. I have two exercises. One is about the narrative part examination, and the other one is to figure out the value added. The first exercise is to check feasibility study report. Suppose that you are a government official and you receive a feasibility study report from an entrepreneur. This entrepreneur has a real project so that he or she has elaborated his or her business plan in the form of industrial feasibility study. Now, let's check the contents one by one in detail. The project. There is a one veterinarian in certain countries. Let me do it this way. Hello? Yes, okay. So you examine how well this industry project is visualized on this study from now together with everybody. And as I said, in accordance with the chapters, put many questions, and one after the other. If you feel it's very good, very well stated in this report, you put score on the narrative description, column of narrative description with your own judgment. If you think it's very, very well written, maybe you can score 3. And if you think it's fairly written, you can score 2. And if you think statement is poor, you can score 1. And if it's not stated, if you think it's not stated, you can score 0. So, what is the project? Let's have a look at the slide. There's a project starting a dairy factory in Bamo Island of a fictitious country to locally produce and market caramel, cream, and yogurt. I tell you, this is an active concept. It's a real one. And then I'm helping this project owner as a consultant. And I asked for a permission to this project owner. Hey, I have a capacity building project in Tanzania. Can I make use of your project? And then she said, yes, why not? But please don't put my name. Therefore, I kind of modified a bit. So the island and the country names are very fictitious, but eventually you can guess where they are. A local veterinarian found an opportunity to market traditional cattle's characteristic quality of milk, targeting foreign tourists visiting the islands. The local cattles are called zebu in their language, and this zebu milk is very thick, even though they don't produce big volume of milk in comparison to Holstein and Jersey. Still, the quality is very, very outstanding. This is what Svet found. After the project was planned, feasibility study was conducted by the veterinarian. So you have the project together with me. This is the table of contents of reports. Chapter 1, executive summary, this and that. Chapter 10, it looks that she is following the template of feasibility study offered by UNI. So let's have a look at chapter 1, executive summary, just an extract. However, by careful and modest development, by the simple recognition by key partners with study, this resource can create creatively marketable, profitable, and appealing products such as zebu yogurt, caramels, and creme fraiche. This helps raise the living standards of untold rural communities, boosting their overall security, nutritional, and educational standards.
Excuse me, Mr. Nishida, we are getting a lot of echoes from your side, please.
Echoes?
Yes, we can't hear you because there is an echo.
Okay. Can you kill the speaker? How about now?
Just continue.
Still you.
but still, I don't know what happened. Since we came from the break, your voice is not well heard. Even there are some people who are getting problem to get you.
Microphone and speaker. How about now?
A little bit okay now.
Unasikiza loudspeaker.
Is somebody speaker on? No. All right. Have killed a couple of speakers around, and I hope that the situation is now better. Okay, then let me keep on going. The second point, this hidden treasure hiding in plain sight are Binia's traditional cattle herds, the zebu. Because of historical colonial, political and faulty commercial analysis, while forming the backbone of many rural communities, viable exploitation of zebu has been largely overlooked until now. Yes, so this is zebu. I don't know if you find the similar species in Tanzania, but maybe you call them with a different name. Okay, so chapter 1. Then let's have a look at the exercise, evaluation sheet, checklist. Executive summary overall. Does the executive summary clearly outline the project? What's your score? Narrative description. It's if you think it's stated, but it's not very clear, either 2 or 1. But if you think that it's very clear, score 3. And the second question is that does the report sufficiently specify relevant risks with the possible measures to be taken? If there is no description, you can score 0. Does the report clearly indicates the level of profit with sufficient justification? Again. So chapter 1 is executive summary, therefore it should cover the whole outlook of the project, and if you think it's sufficiently covered, then you can score something. If not, you can score with lesser points. Okay, then let's move to the background and objective. Chapter 2. Savannah Zebu Initiative was established in 2019 to unlock Zebu's potential to make women and children smile and to put Zebu at the center of the nature conservation and sustainable development of Savannah in Binia. Our approach is a bottom-up focusing on indigenous Zebu cattle that have supported the survival of their keepers and enhanced the resilience of dry lands for millennia. Our objective is to improve livelihood and the well-being of Zebu keepers in order to strengthen their resilience in climate change. At our inception, we aim to demonstrate physiological adaptation of Zebu cattle in some of hottest environment in Binia, and to investigate potential of developing a differentiated market for Zebu dairy program. We then arrived at an innovative way to enhance savanna conservation by producing high-quality fresh caramel as Binian souvenir gift for international visitors. Majority of local people acknowledge that Zebu milk is nutritious and heavy. Swahili people prefer straight tea, sturungi, without adding milk, as it is too heavy in hot climates. Indeed, it has high 4 to 7% butterfat contents and 5 to 7% high lactose contents. I skipped the thesis. This means that consumption of Zebu milk would release energy slowly over a longer period. It is also beneficial to shaping intestinal microbiota, which helps intake of calcium and vitamin B12. Raw Zebu milk has non-fatty acids and less dry matter than exotic dairy milk. and less non-protein nitrogen, indicating that zebu digest protein and remain very efficient. Oma keepers have traditionally exploited these physiological adaptability and high milk quality and quantity in Oma Boran women who are in charge of milking, engage in selling milk, ghee, buttermilk, gururu, yogurt, kirori, and labania, traditional caramels as livelihood activities. In other words, the concept of a fresh caramel and other zebu dairy has been practiced by local women in Bamu for years. Some 5,000 to 10,000 liters of raw milk is transported to neighboring county every day. We are therefore in best position to explore and establish a pilot scheme of zebu dairy with the Oma Boran and the pastoral women in Bamu. Okay, so chapter 2. Chapter 2 is now what? Chapter 2 is about the background and objectives. So on the checklist, it says, is the reason to initiate a project comprehensively described? If you think yes, maybe you can score 3, or if you think it's fair, maybe you can score 2. Does the motivation of project owner sound convincing? If you think, oh, it's convincing, then score high, otherwise score low. Is the project history easy to grasp and in line with the project purpose? If you think so, score high. If not, score low. Right? Mind you, it's an ongoing project. It's a real project. It's even moving now to find out potential financier locally. So, chapter 3, marketing. In September and October 2023, we conducted market survey in Amu Island, Bamu, and Watamu, Kilifi. The survey, see Annex Notes Market Survey, which comes together with the report, revealed that the international hotels and the boutique hotels usually use UHT or ultra heat treated packaged milk from Taita, Taveta, and Mombasa. This management expressed that they were concerned about the quality and safety of locally produced milk. Local restaurants and hotels, on the other hand, use upgraded cow's milk from their long-term farmers on Amu Island. As local norm, this is a kind of social insurance and a safe net in the societies. Chapter 3 continued, differentiation strategy, market mix and positioning, product price, promotion, and place. Using special zebu milk, see chapter 2, we plan to produce high-quality zebu dairy product. We aim to create a special marketplace, see diagram of zebu dairy product in marketplace, amongst the tourism industry, which promote conservation and sustainable development in Savannah as a part of corporate social responsibility. Yeah, this is what we call positioning map, by which the project owner states that this Savannah zebu caramels are positioned to target personalized tourism with a higher price. And in comparison, you have something cheap for the packaged tourist hotel, and also something personalized but cheap for backpackers hostel, and also high price but with a group of people, international hotel chains, safari companies. But what they target is a personalized tourism with a higher price, European tourists, personalized one. This is their target. Chapter 3 continues. We aim at differentiating a dairy product which is new and unique in Binyan tourism industry. Differentiation may protect us from competition from the existing dairy products using upgraded cow's milk and may reduce price sensitivity. Zebu caramels and creme fraiche has powerful marketing potential. Savannah Zebu has strengths in research and development. Guests of international hotel chains and safari companies have customer groups with higher purchasing power. It could also produce parts of usual daily production lines, and daily activities have been embedded in local societies in Bammu. Women in Bammu has established cooperation strategies for resilience of their lives in drylands through selling dairy products for years. As well as targeting the tourism industry, we will sell directly to the consumers by offering online sales promotion. In conclusion, we first look for partners in tourism industry with corporate social responsibility and sustainable development policy. Okay, so just by going through these extracts, how do you score the chapter 3 marketing? Is the positioning of the company commodity clear against the competitive contenders? Is the appealing points commodity service clear to the customers? Is the size of the market well estimated with reasonable analysis? Is the marketing mix, say, product, price, promotion, place, well elaborated so that the marketing activities can easily be imagined? So these are the 4 basic questions, and then you please score your comments with numerical evaluation. All right, if you are through, just with a different color of font, I have, by chance, another yogurt project somewhere. And the same chapter 3, but very different description. Let's compare this and the next page with the blue font is the same yogurt company, but a very different project owner. Another owner says, we produce probiotic product that utilizes only the highest quality milk, stringent manufacturing standard, and strictest quality control measures. The source water is refined and a contaminant-free product. It goes through a series of microfiltration to remove suspended solids and other particulates. It is then removed undesirable taste, odor, color, and other organic substances. The company will use the best proven technologies to produce healthy, great tasting milk that is made fresh daily. There are opportunities for the probiotic yogurt in a big city to expand from the informal sector to the formal sector, potentially to be sold in supermarkets. And the company has the ability to lead this endeavor. The company is conveniently placed, so the business can access students and population. In terms of potential opportunities, the ability and possibility to create community partners with different businesses, schools, organizations, and more to distribute the yogurt. This will allow continuing to reap profit during low sales periods affected by the seasonality. Very different, yes, very different. The first dairy company is focusing on a very, very special type of cattle and very different quality of milk and very limited target market of foreign tourists in the island. And second yogurt company is targeting students, big cities, schools, organizations, businesses, very big market. Very big markets, they want to go for it, probiotic yogurt. Instead of appealing the quality of milk, they are appealing the quality of water and modality of production. So it's same yogurt business, but very different, very different. So this is just for your reference. I just want to say that depending on the author, feasibility study is completely different from one to the other. Today, we are examining just one sample project, but it does not guarantee that you are familiar with the feasibility study project. It differs when you see the second, third, and fourth. Yeah, like You may have heard of this SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. This can also be a very useful tool for the feasibility study to decide the direction of strategy under chapter 3, marketing. Okay, so chapter 3, if we go to the checklist, you have already scored positioning and appealing points, size of the market, and marketing mix. These are the points of questions. So difference, I've already commented, this BAMU project, caramel, cream, and yogurt. They are targeting high-end market of foreign tourists, and then they are aiming at a small volume production. And I understand their strategy is to avoid competition. And this comparison, they produce mainly yogurt. They target local markets mostly, mid to large volume of production, and referring to hygiene management and target markets. They are very competition conscious, sort of. Okay, so let's go to the chapter 4, material procurement. Chapter 4, BAMU project says, we plan to train and deploy community extension officers selected locally. Who are the community extension officers? These are half government employee and half freelance. They are kind of assistant or helper or seasonal temporary government employees, but they are not under a permanent contract. From time to time, they work for the government, and from time to time, they have to find their own way of life or their own jobs to survive. So now this BAMU project, they plan to train and deploy these community extension officers who are selected locally. This will enable us to employ personnel at lower wages, but to help educate women group members on hygiene, animal health, and finance management to ensure supply of safe and hygienic milk to us. To start a program, we hope to apply for a grant for such capacity building programs, and after our dairy in operation, we hope to continue to fund the program for daily income. Additionally, our approach to assist the women group financially is to create the short loan system amongst the members in order to facilitate effort in production of safe and hygienic milk. We also will produce a bulk of medicine and appropriate equipment such as aluminum milk cans at cheaper rates and sell to the members. Detailed procedure of the milk collection at the Mokowe jetty and testing method of milk quality will be most important to discuss with the members of the women's group. Only when cost of most suitable and sustainable mode of transportation and collections of milk is determined, fair price of milk may be reached. Yes. So chapter 4. Chapter 4 is procurement of commodities and materials. Is a source of procurement clearly stated? Is a cost of procurement clearly estimated? Are there any alternative source secured in case? This is risk management. Is there any measures to secure stable supply? So these are the points of evaluation. And if you think it's satisfactory, yes, you score high. Otherwise, you score low. By going through the draft up to here, eventually, I think you came to understand that now it's an active project and it's being under the drafting, and then it's not yet something very, very, very completed. Otherwise, if I help them and if I clear this draft, it comes to have all three, but not yet, yeah? Some are 0. Why? Because it's a very active project. I'm dealing with this project. in parallel to this project program in Tanzania. Okay, chapter 5, location and environment. Left-hand side on the screen, the line shows the place where they put up the workshop. Red is the premises and white is for the factory. And the right-hand side, it's a jetty. And I demanded a floor plan of the workshop, and then they came back with this one. It's not very professional, and I still saying that I still keep on saying that better you deploy a professional engineer. Otherwise, this floor plan is not very professional. Chapter 5, location and environment. According to Yvonne et al., the tides are semi-diurnal with a mean range of 2.5 to 3 meter and a maximum range of around 4 meter. During March and April, the wind blows in east to southerly direction with strong incursion of maritime air from the Indian Ocean, bringing long rains from mid-April to the end of June. In the months of May to August, the southeasterly monsoon influence sets in and the weather becomes stable with the cooler temperatures. Between September and December, the northeast monsoon dominates again, bringing short rains from November to December. Fishery, agricultural produce, and the milk calendar. The calendar was created after interviewing local people's perception of seasons and harvests. Calendar months, October to November, milk yield, it says good milk yield. December, good milk yield. January, March, milk yield reduced as cows are in calf. April, June, milk yield increased as cows are calving. July to September, good milk yield. This shows that it has a high season and low season in terms of material procurement because they are using milk and they need to know when they can expect more volume of production and when they cannot. In this sense, the knowledge of the project owner as a veterinarian very much helps to deal with cow milk, which is not an industrial product. You really have to rely on alive cattle. Chapter 5, environmental care and land preparation costs. Our goal and outcome of this debut daily is to enhance savanna conservation. The approach we take will be to promote sustainability and resilience, both environment and people, by improving welfare of people in savanna. The care is taken to ensure water is used responsibly and discharge of effluent is minimized. We are to construct a 300 cubic meter halcyon underground tank to harvest rainwater first as foundation of the proposed building. We use French drainage and the biodigester plant to utilize gray water in the farm to promote conservation agriculture. There is the Sunday main road between Bamu town and Matunduni in 1,000 meters through privately owned farms. The mangrove channel is 120 meters from the edge of land number 61. This is where we plan the eco jetty for access on water. In conclusion, these environmental measures may cost an extra 4 million. This will be reflected in the financial analysis in chapter 10. So chapter 5, if you go to the checklist, location and environment, does the report mention the reason to choose the location? Is the premise well secured for the project? Is there a map to show the location of the project, the port of delivery, the customers, and convenient route of transport? Are there sufficient description on environment protection measures? So these are the basic points of evaluation. If you have already scored, then we move to the chapter 6, facility, technology, and services. First is water supply. Drilling a borehole in Bamu could be less than 10 meters in depth. This may cost between 150,000 to 250,000. Contact was made with the relevant authorities. We budget 250,000 for the financial analysis in chapter 10. Electricity supply. The authority is extending three-phase electricity to the site. When it is installed in next couple of months, the distance to extend this line to the daily site is 370 meters, 5 meters. The one-off connection fee is 49080. Using the cost of 400-meter cable at 40% and 5 electric poles at 12,500 per pole. We estimate the cost of the connection is 129,580. We use this figure for financial analysis in chapter 10. Chapter 6 continued. Production building. The daily building with this size will have annex veranda of 10 times 5 meters for ease of milk delivery and accommodate a generator room and utility room. Controlled movement, there is one-way movement, will protect quality of the product. They don't go back and forth. Yeah? Door are automatically closed and windows are set to prevent dust in the daily. This may be easier than in town, as there is currently no other activities in the town, except occasional motorbike transporting goods to the market. Energy efficient daily procedure. As we plan to collect milk by boat, testing and cooling raw milk will ensure quality of our daily product. We plan to develop a seawater cooling system on the boat during transportation. Daily product processing flow is summarized in annex. As there will be large heat emission for pasteurization and boiling caramels, we will be seeking new technology which would feed this heat to cool milk and store daily product. Quality control laboratory. As observed in Marindi Product Limited, we will establish an in-house laboratory with Eco Milk Analyzer and Chan Blue Yellow 2 kits following the European Union Maximum Residue Limited. Eco-friendly packaging. We wish to avoid using low-quality plastic for packaging our dairy product. The possible solution may be to use recyclable glass bottles. Organic soap may be used to wash the bottle for reusing the bottles. We are looking into how many consignments we initially require for operation and how many additional bottles we require each year. We initially estimate recycling cycle to be 2.5 in days. Some 4,000 bottles is required for 1,000 liter milk processing per day. We may require to import bottles for 3 months supply. Fencing to control movement. We will erect the 1.8 meter chain link fence wire at 6,000 to protect the factory building from trespassing animals and people, as well as erecting conventional twigs and wire fence in some periphery boundary to stop motorcycle passing through the premises. Okay, so chapter 6, let's have a look at the checklist. Is there a flow plan of production facility? If you think it's sufficient, score high. If you think it's poor, score low. Is there a flow chart of production work service? If you don't find it, you can score in 0. Is there a specification of deployed technology? Yeah, it's been stated somewhat, but it's in a narrative description. It's not technical specification. So how do you evaluate? You think it's sufficient or poor, or how does the project secure operability against plausible risks? There are some risks mentioned, and then if you think it's sufficient, yes, you can score middle to high. Otherwise, you score low. Organization, yes, they put a very clear-cut organization with a structure of a company who is a CEO, who is a technical officer, who is in charge of production, and who is in charge of the marketing. And then, excuse me, just because of this matter of sensitivity, I just covered it. I'm sorry. This part I don't share the real one with you, but you please imagine that they have some organization chart included. And then chapter 7, together with this organization chart, they put career vitae, personal history of core members. But this, I urge them to state as well on the narrative part, which they haven't yet. And then instead, what they stated is here. In conclusion, local staff, who's doing what, have relevant knowledge for their position. The core members of Savannah Zebu, chart of organization, will train these staff, community extension officers, and women's group members. It is hoped that we are to develop a template for replication of the dailies in other parts of countries. For further information, please see their CVs on the annex. That's not bad, but in order to make it more appealing, my advice to this project owner tends to fall on this chapter 7. This chapter 7, you should state who clearly does the work. You have to state it. This is my latest advice to the project owner. Okay, so chapter 7, let's take a look at the checklist. Is there a clear illustration of company organization? Please assume that they have a very good illustration, even though I could not share with you. Is there an outline of the terms of reference attached for key persons? Not yet. CVs of key persons should also be attached. Yes, this was also included. I'm sorry, I cannot share it with you. Required number of workers for each section unit should be indicated. That was also mentioned on this organization chart, but sorry, because of this limitation, I refrain from using it now. CVs of key personnel were well attached, yes. And then chapter 8, human resources. Let's have a look at the report. There are women's community-based organizations to cooperate for selling milk and for saving and making short-term loans. Lukia Abudi, the receptionist of the county commissioner's office in Mokowe, is the head of one of such organizations. Her Sabrina women's group consists of 13 members. They have cooperated to pool and sell milk to milk-selling women in Amu since 1997. They sell about 100 liters of milk at 300 per 5 liters to milk-selling women in Abu. They pay boat transport at 250 or more, depending on the volume of milk. The income is pooled and distributed to a different member every day, so as for the income to distribute equally within the members. The milk was received by milk-selling women in Bamu town around 1 p.m. Women's milking starts 10 a.m. in Mokowe, so that it is just in time before being spoiled, as quality of milk goes down at 40 Celsius after 4 hours. The raw milk is sold from 1 p.m. at 50 per half a liter. Orma women, Jamila and Halima, pasteurize milk at home and come back to sell milk after 4 p.m. in town. In conclusion, traditionally, Orma cooperated in the Islamic societies in Bamu. We are strengthening cooperation and uniting different women's groups. We aim to solidifying the cooperation by incoming generation activities and microfinance scheme and capacity building in animal health, hygiene and food safety, as well as financial management and building a leadership and take up democracy. These approaches would hope to contribute sustainability of the daily program and improving welfare of people and resilience in savanna conservation. Yes, so chapter 8 is about human resources, and then it's clear that this project is counting on a local women's cooperative, local women's society. Having said that, let's take a look at the checklist. Is there sufficient description to secure human resources for the project? If you think it's convincing, score high, otherwise score low. Is there clear indication of the cost of training and the contents of HR management activities? They mentioned something, but if you think it's okay, you score high, otherwise you can score low. Is there sufficient description on the relevant risks of human resource management and measures described? Risk. I don't know. Did you smell something about the risk management? If you think yes, you can score middle to high. Okay, chapter 9, implementation plan and budget. The necessary permit and legal requirements are as follows. Look, this is very, typical or even common with, I think, the case of Tanzania. Necessary permit and legal requirement. Okay, let's take a look. Food handling certificate. On the real report, they put the authority and the cost as well. But here I deleted. Public health standard, public health premises certificate, and inspection of toilet, clean piped water, and sewage. Commercial single business permit 6,000 for small investment and 12,000 for large investments. Approval of Binia Daily Board, Binia Bureau of Statistics, Halal Bureau of Standards, National Environment Management Authority. These are the authorities that this company has to get the approval or permit. Yes. So chapter 9, they just stated implementation plan budget. Budget is also mentioned, but because of this sensitivity, I did not include. Is there a well-elaborated schedule or implementation? No, nothing. Is the schedule shown by a bar chart or equivalent illustration? No. Is the budget of implementation, including construction, well described? No. Is the risk estimation clear? Very poor, yeah. So these are the points that you may have to advise the project owner so that they can improve the quality of the report as well. Yes, chapter 10, financial analysis. Yeah, it has a sizable description, but I just put the conclusion only. Sustainability, cash flow for financial analysis, it was found that 100% positive means that they don't have to worry about the bankruptcy at all. And the profitability, internal rate of return, they had a very good figure of 90% plus, which means if they are successful in marketing, they can make a very good money out of this investment, 90% plus. And safety, the break-even point was approximately 24%, which means suppose that they have 100% capacity of operation, they can operate as low as 24% out of 100. Then they don't make any loss. 24% operation can promise survival. So what do you want to examine more? This was, I mean, basically, these are the very key figures. Having read that, let's go back to the checklist. Financial analysis. Is the financial safety clearly indicated? I should say yes. Is the project profitability sufficiently secured? I should say yes. And are the financial statements sufficiently attached? It doesn't appear here, but it was all attached too. So, mind you, after spending very patient half an hour with me to go through, even though it's extract, a very lengthy report to talk about investment project. In a sense, it's interesting, but in a sense, it's painful, patient time, wasn't it? But what I wanted to share with you is that, okay, financial analysis, it's, in a sense, it's easy. It's just a matter of figure. You can say, okay, IRR 100%, quite easily. But whether this figure is credible or not, this is the point. And then I hope that this exercise gave you an opportunity to sense the seriousness of the project owner. She is serious. And then she is still doing, trying to cope with technical requirements, which I advise from time to time to upgrade her feasibility study report. And when you see your score, I know that it's not perfect. It's somehow mixed up score of good and bad, I think. But at least I hope that you sense that there is somebody who is serious about the project, who spent a lot of resources to draft the feasibility study report, the narrative part, to that extent. This you can expect. You can expect from local project owners and feasibility study analysts whom I train at this moment in Tanzania. As I mentioned at the beginning, I have 4 projects now, and I have 3 analysts whom I spent a vast extent of my time to train. And then after the training, you can expect to have this quality of the feasibility study reports. But mind you, I have only 3. Do you think 3 is enough to cover the whole country? I don't think so. At the beginning of my service here in Tanzania, I told the DID that I can train as many as 10. And 10, I think, is a minimum requirement for you to institutionalize this feasibility study as a tool, as a weapon, as a measure for you to promote the industry. So if you are convinced, please find more projects. And I still have 1.5 more years to go. And if you want to see similar quality of the real one in Tanzania, you have to count on me. Okay. All right. So the checklist, please review your checklist and discuss with the puzzle participant about your evaluation. Okay. You may have next participants, yes? Can you please exchange your checklist and compare with your colleagues, and about your score could be same, could be different with your colleagues. So please do. And then those who are on online, you can please repeat the same practice. Sooner or later, this video will be uploaded on YouTube. And you can organize internal workshop at your institute. And this exercise material, you can go through it and score and then compare with the others. And then when you institutionalize this practice, as I mentioned at the beginning, why not you make it as a rule to form a team of 2, and then figure out the average score, and this average score comes to be an institutional score of your department. This is my suggestion. How you absorb this input and how you reflect on the reality, it's up to you. It's up to you. Okay? All right, so this is about a narrative report. And then you can remember this particular slide, which we have already shared during the first half of the session today. The value added. Value added is the parameter of monitoring and evaluation from the perspective of government. This is what I shared with you. So how do you figure out this value added? This is next exercise. So mind you, what is the ingredients of value added? You have to take note. Profit, tax, salary and wage, rent, and interest. Yes. Profit, tax, salary and wage, rent, and interest. And if you are familiar with income statement of a private sector company, you can guess that these are appearing on same income statement, but on different rows. Different rows. This is what I want to examine from now. All right. So, mind you, please remember this. Please remember this. Added value is consistent with the profit, tax, salary, rent, and interest. And by mistake, someone may want to add a depreciation, but I suggest to you, better don't. Because many cases you are buying equipment from outside Tanzania. So profit, tax, salary, rent, interest. All right. Okay, so now I change my slide. And for those who are present on site, please retrieve another printout, which is the title of exercise 2. And then exercise 2 appears on the screen like this. So exercise 2, this is a variation of income statement of company. On the top, it has a sales revenue. And you then deduct the variable costs, and then you have variable margin or variable profit or marginal profit. And then you deduct fixed costs, then you have operational profit or operational margin. And then you have gross profit, and then you deduct the tax, then you have net profit. So underneath the bottom, it says how much is the added value for each fiscal year. Please calculate. So now you have to come up with this added value. Which one do you aggregate? Which one do you add? Now you have to remember my presentation. Yes. After all, it's not very difficult. It's not very difficult. How much is the added value? This one is very, very, very easy. Why? Because out of 4 parameters, they only have 2. Yeah, just one clarification that I have to provide you. My explanation, I just said the profit, but it refers to the net profit after tax. Net profit after tax is a profit. Net profit. Are you with it? Are you with it? You know, people who are not experienced, even though it's not a difficult question, it's difficult at the first time. Definitely it's difficult, I tell you. Because you're not familiar with these type of things. And if it's first time in your life, no matter how easy the question comes to be, you feel it's very different. Very different. Yeah. So by saying so, I do not demand you to have everybody right answer from the beginning. But what I wanted to share with you is that this is what analysts are engaged with. You may think that, no, I'm not analyst, but analysts think that ministry should know about it. So as a matter of experience, I really wanted to try this exercise. Okay, so let me just talk about this question. How much is the added value? And if I can allow refer to my presentation, value added is accumulation of profit, tax, salary, rent, and interest, right? Profit, tax, salary, and interest. Let's have a look. Profit. Yes, we have profit here. Profit, net profit, 46 million, about, yes. And tax, just above, 30 million. So you have to add these two, which means that it comes to be equal to gross profit by chance. I should say yes. Profit plus tax, 76. What else? Interest. Interest, it says financial cost 0. Financial cost 0 means there is no interest. Okay, let's forget about it. Rent. No rent indicated. But the personnel, yes, personnel here. Personnel, 5.6. Okay, this has to be added. So 76 plus 5.6, almost 6, means that approximately 82 million. That is a sum of net profit, tax, and personnel. So 86 million of national economic contribution is the numerical parameter of this project evaluation. If this project comes to you, you think that, okay, this project contributes to the national economy with the amount of assumably 86 million altogether. Yeah, value added. And also, by chance, you may have sensed that, well, this calculation doesn't seem to be very credible. Why doesn't have the interest? Why doesn't have the rent? I should say you are right. To that extent, feasibility study is just a forecast. It's just a forecast. Probably they have a comparatively accurate estimation on expenditures, but the sales, there is no guarantee that they can certainly sell that much of some. And then also the deal with the financial institutions, say banks, it starts from now. You compile the feasibility study report and you go to the bank, and only after that you can conclude with the bank how much the interest rate comes to be. So theoretically, yes, you are in a position to demand all those parameters to the project owners, but please also understand that they are not necessarily equipped with all the data that you demand. This is a very, very critical point of today's session. You can understand, you can demand, but you also please understand that if they come up with, let's say, 50, 60% of the information that you demand, you thank them. You must thank them to their effort. Otherwise, forecasting something in the future is not easy. It's not easy. This is what they are trying to do. So you please admire the effort of those entrepreneurs, but if they cannot show you how much the value added comes to be with a very, very high accuracy, they may say, oh, please, sorry, I cannot give you that much of an accurate figure. Please compromise. Please compromise. Forecasting the future is that difficult job, and then that extent of the commitment, you please give a big hand for him or her. They are that determined to go for the business. And then you are in a position to play them up as a ministerial officer. This is my heartful message to the audience today. Okay, so this is exercise number 2. In a sense, very easy, but also I hope in 2.5 hours you must be all exhausted. And I hope this workshop was a help of you to understand what the role of feasibility studies, and then what can the possible benefit of the ministry toward the end of the day. And then if you think that further cooperation is demanded, you please raise up your voice so that I can be a help of yours in continuation from now toward the end of the project, which will be the March 2025. March 2025. And then I keep on helping the analysts, but mind you, I only have 3 analysts for 4 projects. Obviously, it's running short of securing a good future for Tanzania. I need more. I need more to train, and then please come up with real projects so that I can be a help. At this moment, these are soap manufacturing projects and yogurt production projects hosted by SIDO, and pesticide project hosted by NDC, and the sunflower project hosted by a private sector company. Only these 4. Not enough, not enough. So if you find anybody around who have a real project, please let them or her get in touch with Nishida. I'm ready to be a help of yours with 100% commitment of mine. Okay, so participants online as well, thank you very much for your participation. Now we go for a break. Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you too.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.